We partner within IT to make sure we understand what the final requirements of our internal Intel partners are and what their external customers require. And so we just build that partnership as essentially a value chain from basic fundamental infrastructure components all the way to the final user experience of somebody potentially using a service delivered outside of Intel. So that's really what this is all about. It's basically delivering operational excellence across all of IT and everything we do.
It's essentially infrastructure IT done right. Is that a correct way to characterize it?
Yeah, it's more than infrastructure, though. It's every aspect of basic delivery within IT. So it's not just an infrastructure play. Infrastructure is a huge part of that. And the key to this is that we think that if we don't do this part with excellence, no one will let us go up this pyramid, right? If you can't keep the network operational, nobody's going to be listening to your ideas how to improve their business or how to redesign their business models. So we have to do the operational excellence piece extraordinarily well just to get a seat at the table for the higher level activities.
Aziz, can you talk a little bit about, the next in that pyramid and that contributing business value element so that you can earn the right to influence?
What we're trying to do is not look at ourselves as just a cost adder to the business, but more how we can take advantage of that cost to add business value. And business value comes in as, okay, so let's say we have an existing infrastructure for IT that's already developed. Can we look at the gaps that the business has and see if we can take advantage of our infrastructure to fix business type problems? I'll give you an example. I don't know if you're familiar with our manufacturing operations, but we have, after the wafer manufacturing, we have an operation called sort. Then we go to assembly, and then we go to what we call final test. Historically, in the old days, we used to have to socket or test the parts at sort, and then retest the same test at final test. And one of the issues is that data availability on that unit at sort was not available to the final test operations. So using the existing infrastructure in IT, we were able to move that data at a unit level, make it available at the test operation. This way they eliminate a lot of the testing activities and able to reduce their cost. So we used an existing infrastructure that's already in there, and what we've done is enable the operation to dramatically reduce their cost of running and being able to move the product faster to market. You want to make sure that your operation is running flawlessly, because that takes, if you have issues at the operation level, you're taking resources to just keep things calm. Whereas if your operation is running smooth and you don't have any interrupts, you can take these resources and put them in the middle space where you can now invest these resources to add business value.
Intel as a whole is really undergoing transformation right now, getting into new businesses, software and services, Internet of Things, new devices, as well as expanding into adjacent areas with mobile and laptops, tablets, etc. So Intel as a whole is undergoing a transformation, and this layer of the pyramid is really about what IT can do to enable that transformation for Intel and help the business grow. And it's really critical to Intel's business to do this. And really the way we see it is that IT can be a change agent for how Intel does its business. Delivering those business results really, it requires a mindset in the IT organization. Typically we've had projects that are IT projects, right? We're delivering IT systems, and we're focused on, delivery on time, on schedule, on budget, those kinds of things. We've really made a shift at Intel in IT to taking as our goals business goals instead. Now that still means you have to deliver IT systems on time, on budget, on schedule, all that. But the end goal is the business goal, not the IT goal. So with each layer of the pyramid now, we have set, we call them big hairy, audacious goals, and they are all business goals for us that require IT solutions, but the end result is a business goal. So this is shifting the mindset of people in IT, and I think it also helps them to see the value they're adding to the company, and they get pretty excited about that. And then on the business side, it's about engaging with the business, taking that joint goal with them. In some cases, we can't control that whole goal. They own a big piece of it. But knowing that we're at the table, that we're going to contribute to it, and we're going to help them achieve that goal for the company.
Who is this customer?
So let me try on that one. This is a great question because it really depends on what you're doing. And everybody that does something that adds value to the company has to deliver it to somebody else. And they need to view that whoever they're providing their output to is their customer. And ultimately what we'd like to do is to connect this value chain of all of these customers so we actually get to the real outside of Intel person writing a check who is the true customer. If all of our efforts don't align to what that person who pays the bill at the end of the day wants, then we won't be successful. So having this customer orientation, it's a core of Intel's values. And then within IT, we're saying put the customer at the center. And having that clarity about who the customer is really important in order to be able to deliver the right value to that ultimate end paying customer.
So I think at the end of the day, every single person, the 100,000 employees at Intel, need to feel that they are its customer and they're being serviced as a customer and getting the value from Intel's investment in IT.
What advice do you have for CIOs and IT professionals who want to, create an environment where IT is viewed as a function within business that adds value and empowers growth and delighting customers?
Well, I think you really have to work with the business. They're typically used to that bottom layer of the pyramid kind of relationship. So, you deliver operational excellence, the systems are up and running all the time.
Right.
That's the typical IT relationship, IT business relationship. So you almost have to retrain their expectations to help them see that IT can add value to the business. And it takes relationship building, it takes effort on IT's part to align our goals to their business goals and to understand what the real business problems are and how we can help solve them. So it's really a retraining of not just on the IT side, but on the business side of resetting expectations for both of us. Each business group is evolving at a different pace than others,
Right.
and so we experience even some of that resistance within the company as well, but it's about building that base layer, starting to show where you can add value, demonstrate it, so they have confidence that you can do it, and you're kind of getting your foot in the door with some of them. Others are, open their arms kind of wide right away and, bring you in and say, hey, if you can help me solve these problems, that's great. So each one is a unique situation that you have to build that relationship with. Some require more care, but you have to start doing that. Otherwise, you'll just stay at the bottom of the pyramid, and the company really will miss out on the value that IT can add.
First of all, you have to be performing at a level where you're getting beyond a conversation about the last mistake or the last outage. So you have to, again, put that pyramid, start at the base level, go focus on what you can control, and that's the basic performance. But to get to the next highest level, I think the best way is you have to go to your business partners and actually explicitly say, why are you setting your expectations so low for me? I can do so much more for you that you're not giving me a chance to do. Why are you setting your expectations so low?
In order to transform, the most important thing is that you have to have a solid foundation in the other two layers. You're never going to be able to transform. Your customers are never going to take these transformative solutions from you unless you have that core operational excellence and you really demonstrate that you know their business. I think the other thing to consider as we develop these strategies, one of the layers is not more important than the other. You can't disregard one or the other. The minute you let one slip, the pyramid collapses, right? You're right back down to the bottom. So you have to know within IT that every layer is important. You'll have some people that'll just work in the bottom layer or just in the top layer. Those are all important tasks. That's all important work for the company. And it's the cumulative effect that really drives the real result for the company.
To earn a seat at the table, you have to have a history of repeatable performance and flawless performances, as well as a history of showing the value that IT brings to the business. But then as an organization, an IT organization, you really have to set the bar higher. You shouldn't just be okay that we're delivering now and we're there. You should make that bar a lot higher. Similar to what David said, you're setting the bar too low for us from a business perspective. We have to set the bar too high for our people because we want them to think, do more, right? And that is how you invite innovation and innovation into the ideas that they're working on, and the business can see that. And then you're evolving to that next level where you have the right to transform the business.
The most important thing I would say is that you can't just focus on the bottom layer in isolation. Because there are things you have to do. You have to pay attention to details. You have to have disciplined processes that people follow. You have to really care about your customer. But you also have to do things because they add value to the business. Well, one of the things we say is there should never be an IT project. It should only be business value projects. And we're trying to get that uplift. So I would say that if you're focused on improving the bottom, make people aware of the business value and the ability to transform. And just as a kind of a final conclusion, one other thing I tell all of my people around the world is take the initiative to solve the customer's problem. Don't just follow our rule book. You have to think about it from the customer's perspective, and don't ever tell them no, you won't help them.